everyone, and welcome to the RIftbound Coastal Series 10K. We are set for quite the RIftbound action this weekend here in Hampton, Virginia. I'm Josh Schneider, and I am joined by Hayden, the Eggman. Eggman, what are you most excited for this weekend?
Honestly, I'm really excited for some games. This is like one of my first big events for commentating, just seeing the games live. We've been seeing people play all over the venue today, a lot of interesting decks going on, and yeah, really excited for the action.
Absolutely, same here. The question that I have coming into this weekend, we don't have the best ofs to
No.
deal with here in this cash tournament. So how many Dravens do we see? That's what I'm curious about. And can someone take down a Draven?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I've already seen a couple of decks play. I'm like, do they know that there's no best of today, right? Like, there's just people who really believe on some off meta stuff, but they've gone quite a far distance already. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this round's game as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we do apologize. We are going to be starting with round 3. So,
Yes.
Unfortunately, we were unable to get rounds 1 and 2. We had some technical difficulties. But nevertheless, we've got an exciting feature match coming here in round 3. I believe we're going to see some Draven right out of the gate.
Yeah,
we're going to see
of course.
some Kai'Sa and Draven to start things out.
Yeah, should be a lot of fun. I think we're going to go see their decks real quick. Yeah, there we go. We've got Zachary on the Draven here. And even though there's Draven, right, there's always a 50-50 of what kind of Draven do we have.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. It looks like this is more the mid-range Draven version. Pretty classic stuff here. This is a deck that just wants to outvalue you at every step of the game with the units, the spells that it has access to, and also that signature gear, the spinning axe, which is so crucial to this deck.
Sure is. So, yeah, it's definitely more of the standard build. I'm pretty sure we're going to see some of the more, the newer build later today too, but yeah, nothing wrong with this one.
Absolutely. Now we look over at Richard Garvin's deck. We've got Kai'Sa. Now this was really the staple legend for such a long time in the Origins meta, and now Kai'Sa's still very much a player in the meta. This is just a great tempo deck that is really relying heavily on these cheap units and also these great removal spells.
100%. And yeah, already very good in set 1. We did have some new additions into Spirit Forged as well to take advantage of not only the removal, but just being able to generate some treasure tokens too. So good adaptation for this set too.
Looking forward to seeing how this one plays out as we get to the table. Richard versus Zachary again. We are starting here in round 3.
Yeah, and this is round 3 and game 2. So Zachary is up 1-0. Richard's going to have to try to get a quick 2-0 in the next 27 minutes. But I think these, especially if you're not playing against the Miracle build, the Detonate build, right?
Right.
I think you have a good chance of having a complete game.
We'll see if Richard can pull it back against Zachary on Draven. Zachary, a Hampton, Virginia local, was super excited to have a big event here locally. Really looking forward to this opportunity. He's off to a great start today. As we see that Plundering Poro, the opening play of this game, we've got Obelisk of Power as the battlefield of choice for Zachary. So both players starting with 1 additional rune. And we're going to have 4 runes on Zachary's first turn. So that chosen champion, Draven Vanquisher, he's here.
Yeah, and I think that's honestly like one of the big reasons we've seen so many people on Obelisk of Power. If you just have a good 4-cost champion, you can just play out for, it doesn't matter what your opening hand is, right? You still have something on curve to play that's super strong. So we do have the Poro, being able to plunder there, get a gold token. Playing another Poro here, and we've got 3 left open right now. Oh, hiding a card as well.
Really going all in here with the Poros, the great aggressive start for Richard, scoring that early point. We've got the Plundering Poro holding at the Void Gate as we move back over to Zachary. Now Richard coming in from Northern Virginia for this event, his first competitive RIftbound event. As the Draven Vanquisher, we're going to that northern battlefield, and we are going to see some response here. That Hextech Ray coming out, and that is going to be 3 damage to this Draven Vanquisher at the battlefield. So 3 damage on.
And another one.
Wow. Double Hextech Ray, and that is going to take out Zachary's chosen champion early. And he's going to have to rebuild here as we go for, looks like we're going to pay 2. Of course, we've got some removal options in this deck. We'll see if we try and target one of these Poros that.
Oh, the Ferris Forerunner here.
This is great. This
Yes.
is so good against a deck like Kai'Sa that has these big removal spells because you leave bodies on the board with that Death Knell ability. So that is a great card here in this matchup.
Yep, so we are at 2 points to 0 right now with Richard ahead. We are going to move our other Poro, getting our 3rd point here. See the 3rd Poro trying to sneak on the board there.
Game 2, all about the Poros here. That Pouty Poro able to put Richard up here pretty big on point tempo. Should be 3-1 in favor of Richard, but here comes the Ferris Forerunner moving into the Obelisk of Power. Will take care of the Pouty Poro. Pout its way right to the trash, and Zachary is going to score his 2nd point of game 2 as we saw the Kaisa Survivor coming out, so Richard establishing some more threats there on the back line.
We still just have so many runes open. We've got a whole 7. Draven can use a lot of that. You know, we also do have like the Mind Splitter, right? That's a card that, you know, usually you can see. Whenever I'm at 7, I want to play that card all the time, right? So it can be so aggressive here. But it looks like we are going to play one of Kaisa's spells, the Falling Star, to get rid of their Kaisa.
Yeah, it takes the biggest threat that Richard had off the board. We still have the Plundering Poro there holding at the southern battlefield as Richard threatens to go up. And we are going to see the Darius coming out. It was the 2nd card played in the turn, so he's readied. He gets +2 might moving into the Void Gate. We do see Wages of Pain. That is the reaction here. Plus a Hextech Ray with the Void Gate here. Those spells are dealing 1 bonus damage, so this is going to be enough to take out the Darius, and the Poro is going to hold on to the Void Gate.
Yeah, that's huge. You know, the Poro's... wait, is it not enough? Because it was, yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay,
yeah.
It was, yes.
Thought it was with the bonus damage there. So it was 7 might for Darius, and that bonus damage on Wages of Pain and Hextech Ray able to go up to 8 total damage.
Yep, and we are at 4 points right here. So, you know, halfway there, we've got quite the advantage. 4 points to 1 for Zachary, and yeah, Poro's been on that battlefield since the beginning of the game, right? So maybe it's time to you know, find some other places to go.
Look at this. It's another Pouty Poro. We've seen a lot of Poro action here in the first game for Richard, really just getting all of these early points. He's established the point tempo with these cheap 2-cost units as Zachary is able to hold here, going up to 3 points with the Ferris Forerunner and going to develop his own Kaisa Survivor. And looks like we're going to tap out all of our runes here. Going to put down the Treasure Hunter as well for some of our own gold gear creation. We've got 2 gold on the other side of Richard. He's able to create another one with that Wages of Pain.
Yep. And we do go up to 5 points, so I believe it's 5 to 2 points now since we did hold with the Ferris Forerunner here. And it is going to be the Thousand Tail Watcher here. So this will offer like a really good opportunity to take the Obelisk of Power, especially since we got that extra gold. Why not use it while we can? And I believe this is, you know, 7 to 3 right now.
That is huge. The Thousand-Tailed Watcher, when you play it, the enemy units get -3 might to a minimum of turn, or to a minimum of 1 for that turn. And the Ferris Forerunner is taken out. We do get 2 3-might mech tokens in base for Zachary, but up to 6 points goes Richard there, conquering that northern battlefield with the Thousand-Tailed Watcher. This is how Kaisa wants to finish the games, and now Zachary going to have to recover here. We're quite a bit behind here, 6 to 2.
Yeah, I mean, like, the double Hextech Ray to get rid of the Draven, yeah, ended up being really strong, right? Really stopped a lot of the momentum, and yeah, honestly, there hasn't even been that much combat, so Zachary, I don't think, has had that many opportunities to actually draw cards from that either.
Zachary trying to think through this line here. We've got the Thousand-Tailed Watcher we have to deal with, holding their 7 might on Obelisk of Power. Do have some might here in the back line.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to, you could send a lot of things up to that Thousand-Tailed Watcher, and you'd be able to take it. But it looks like we're going to start off the Treasure Hunter, get some treasure, start us off.
Treasure Hunter, great versatility. Whenever it moves, you create a gold gear token.
And I think are we pushing everything to Obelisk?
He's certainly thinking about it here.
Yeah,
have a lot of runes to work with.
Yeah, it'd be 10 to 7, especially since this isn't the Void Gate, right? It's a little bit of a safer battlefield. So yeah, it looks like we're going to do that, and yeah, 10 to 7 right now.
Just 1 open for Richard, And it looks like this is going to go through. And it's Kaisa and one of the mech tokens taken out. The Thousand-Tailed Watcher falls, though, and Zachary is able to conquer that Obelisk of Power. And here we go. Falling Star for Zachary is going to clean up the back line. And just like that, Zachary should be up to, I believe, 5. So it should be 6-5. And now there's no units on the board for Richard.
Yeah, because they started the turn at 3, right? No, I think they should be at 4, right?
It's either 4 or 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe it's 6-5. Yep, 6-5, and we've got the Treasure Hunter coming out, and I believe that was the Overzealous Fan as well for Zachary there.
Mm-hmm.
So Zachary has done a nice job of stabilizing here. We've stemmed the bleeding. Now let's see how Richard responds. It's going to be Wages of Pain as we attempt to deal 3 damage to that mech token on the battlefield, and quick draw, the reaction speed. Spinning Axe is going to give +3 might to that mech. The Wages of Pain will not be enough to take it out. We do create the gold token for Richard, but here comes another Thousand-Tailed Watcher. -3 might across Zachary's board. We are going to accelerate the Watcher, and this is a massive play here for Richard. It is moving in, taking out the mech, holding that Spinning Axe, which has temporary. So we could potentially just take that out.
Spinning Axe. But yeah, I mean, we could, like, I don't know, this is really tough. We've got a couple units, but not a lot of power to, mess with a 7 might Thousand-Tailed Watcher in that Obelisk of Power.
Yeah, right now that back line looking a little fragile, just 3 might. You've got the little chump units there. Overzealous Fan, much better when defending than attacking. Now Zachary has to think through this again. We had to deramp a little bit on the last turn to play that Falling Star to clean up the back line. And then Richard having back-to-back Thousand-Tailed Watcher turns. It's pretty good.
Yeah, honestly, two's a little lucky, I'd say, right? You don't have that much movement and where you decide, you know what, we don't have a way to interact with it. Let's go to that game 3.
All right, game 3 it is. Love to see it. Zachary taking game 1, and Richard able to double Thousand-Tailed Watcher his way into game 3.
Yeah, and I mean, it was just the Falling Star, right? It was like, if you get another Thousand-Tail, we've already seen one, right? It's going to be an expensive play. I'm going to take the bank that you don't have it. Unfortunately, they did have the second Thousand-Tail.
And also in that game, how big was the Void Gate? Because if you go back earlier, when the Darius moved in, that Wages of Pain plus the Hextech Ray at the Void Gate was enough to take out the buffed up Darius, and that was a big pivotal moment, I feel like, because you were able to hold with the Poro again, get that extra point, and it felt like the momentum really was in Richard's favor at that stage.
Yeah, I think the Poro surviving gave us another 2 points, right? So we narrowly got there, right? We were at 7 holding to 8, right? And without that, you wouldn't have been able to have been the same amount of pressure for this next turn. So I think that was really pivotal, and getting that removal was great.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to seeing this deciding game 3. I'm also curious, I do believe there was a switcheroo in the Draven list. I can't remember if it was in the main deck or if you had one in the sideboard. But I'm curious to see if that comes into play at any point in this match, or something like the Thousand-Tailed Watcher moving in. Can we switcheroo, right? Can we try to defend a little bit against that Watcher? Because the Thousand-Tailed Watcher really does seem to be one of those big finisher pieces for Kaisa.
Yeah, switcheroo is really good for, just one big attack, right, on one unit. And so, especially since Thousand-Tailed Watcher does the extra benefit of switching your power, or you're minusing your power, like, you can get a really nasty switcheroo with that involved. But looks like we're going to game 3. We've got double Targon's Peak, so a lot of extra runes on the defense for both these players. Looks like Richard's sending 2 back, and I think Zachary might have kept.
Yeah, double Targon's Peak. Very interesting here as we get ready. Zachary will be starting on the play in this deciding game 3 as we see the Tide Hunter coming out, just establishing presence on the board. And Richard will do the same with the Lecturing Yordle. He'll draw a card here.
I think it should. Okay, yeah.
Zachary moving in with a Tide Turner to the southern battlefield.
Look at all that removal in Richard's hand, too. Look at that. I think we've got
good.
triple Hextech and an additional copy of the and another one. Oh my gosh, we've got damage for days in that hand.
That is wild. Zachary does just get that chosen champion, the Draven Vanquisher, out ASAP as we score the first point at the southern battlefield there. And now we are going to see a trade as the Lecturing Yordle moves in. We'll trade with the Tide Turner, just cleaning up the battlefield.
Yeah, but
now we get Kaisa accelerated.
Yeah, and that's what I think that's really strong with a lot of these legends. If you have a champion that you can just kind of play on curve on like turn 2, it just, mitigates the fact that, Richard has an okay hand, but it's very unusual. If it's very reactive, right? You need something proactive like this Kaisa. So being able to play that out of the champion zone is really strong here.
Now we did deramp ourselves a little bit, but we drew a card when conquering off of Kaisa Survivor. We ready 2 runes thanks to conquering at the Targon's Peak. We also hit a card at the Targon's Peak. So Richard really setting up to try and hold strong with Kaisa there at Targon's Peak. We know multiple Hextech Ray in Richard's hand. Zachary just going to play it safe here. Go to that northern Targon's Peak with the Vanquisher. Up to 2 points. Oh, we're going to see Hextech Ray number 1. Do we see Hextech Ray again? There it is. That is going to deal a total of 6. But there's the Spinning Axe in response. And it's going to save the Vanquisher. 6 damage dealt, but 7 might now with that buff. So Zachary able to go up to 2.
Yeah, and definitely a really greedy play, but if it worked, it would have been, I think, incredibly strong. So I understand why we went for it. It worked last game too, but this game in particular, that's going to be we're already behind on runes. The fact we have to recycle another rune for that play, very tough for Richard going into their 3rd turn here.
Absolutely. Do hold to 2. 2-2 the score, but Zachary able to develop even further. Was also able to put the Overzealous Fan and that Noxus Hopeful for just 2 energy. Got the Legion effect there. Once again, conquered a battlefield. Readies 2 runes up at the end of the turn, so we have the combat tricks potentially ready to go as we just pass it right back over to Zachary as he holds up to 3 now at the northern battlefield.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen what's in hand, right? Like, it's all defensive, reactive stuff, so we got to wait.
Noxus Hopeful moving in. 4-4. Very likely going to see a Wages of Pain. There it is. We deal 3 damage to the Noxus Hopeful. We get a Gold Gear token for Richard.
And another Wages, it seems. Yeah, another Wages. And there it goes.
Just finish off the Noxus Hopeful. So the Hopeful is killed there. 2 gold tokens on Richard's side of the board. Zachary. We know he's running Darius. So we could still potentially go in and challenge Kaisa with the right hand here.
Ooh,
and the Mind Splitter. Okay,
like, all right.
like 2 cards in hand.
Yeah.
So Zachary able to look at Richard's hand, and one of these cards will be discarded. Hextech Ray and Falling Star are the choices.
There's no bad choices. They're both good, right? But
right.
I think Falling Star is probably a little bit better. The fact that he has 2 units that have 7 might right now means that Falling Star doesn't do a lot by itself. But if we top deck a Stupefy, right, that could make a big difference.
Staying even here on points. Richard will hold up to 3. It's 3-all. Now Richard has had to use up a bit of power. Back up to 6. Kaisa moves back to base as we just try and establish more to come in at a later date with the Plundering Poro. Richard able to leave 4 up, but Zachary is going to take the lead. It should be 4-3 here for Zachary as we hold the northern battlefield. And Zachary, of course, we've got a 7 might unit on the board now with the Mind Splitter.
Yeah, and honestly, that's like one of the biggest weaknesses for Kaisa, especially without Void Gate on the battlefield, right? We have so many good ways to deal like 6 damage or less, but 7 is where we need additional cards. Again, a Stupefy. We've already been through 2 Hextech Rays, right? So there's the amount of removal is a little bit low, and Zachary also knows what's in hand. It's just a single Ray, and then we top deck this Poro. So not as afraid as we could, compared to other hands.
Yeah, I think Zachary has to feel pretty good about this spot right now. We're in the lead. We have really starved Richard of cards in hand. The Mind Splitter will go down to the southern battlefield. It's 5-3 now for Zachary. Looking to close things out here in game 3. Looks like the Vanquisher, the option of coming back to base here. But so many runes. He does have several cards to work with.
Yeah, in this situation, it's very interesting, right? Because you're so, you get so many benefits for conquering, right? But if you're holding, right, it means that, you don't get that when conquer effect on there. So moving back just so like Draven also likes the battle, right? You get the extra card draw and stuff. Looks like we're going to play out a Kaisa, an Accelerated, and a Treasure Hunter there, and we're going to pass it back to Richard.
So now Zachary's really set up for this next turn. This next turn, taking over that northern battlefield will likely be a pretty simple task.
Yeah,
and we hold with the Mind Splitter, we go up to 6, so.
Yeah, and we're going to just move the Kaisa there. The trade-off here is that, you will give Kaisa an extra draw. I think we did draw into Stupefy, so tying it 4 points to 4. We are going to use the Falling Star on the Mind Splitter. And using the gold gear, so doing 6 damage, and then we're going to use the Stupefy here. Get an extra draw, get the free removal there.
We needed to clean up the big threat, and we do.
Oh, and that's a pretty good top deck as well. It looks like it was a 1,000-Tail Watcher, so that could do a lot of work like it did last game. Go to 5, get another gold gear token off the Poro, but I think we're losing a lot of points and a lot of cards on board this next turn.
Yeah, Zachary has the backline built up. You've still got 7 might on that Draven Vanquisher with the Spinning Axe. Kaisa now in play. Richard holding on to both battlefields. And at this point for Zachary, I think the only thing you do have to be very weary of is that 1,000-tailed Watcher. That is what we have to think about as the big out for Richard. Draven Vanquisher moving down to the southern battlefield. Right, winning a combat.
Yeah, there goes the Poro. Draw the card, get a gold. Very nice.
Yeah, really doubling up there, right? You've got the Chosen Champion. You get a gold when you win a combat. The Legend, you draw a card when you win a combat. So you pair those two up, getting some great value out of every single combat that you're able to win or take advantage of.
Yeah, so that ties us to 5 here. Looks like we're considering just, I don't know, we could maybe do like a Kaisa trade here, 4 for 4, and then just push something up.
Haven't seen Darius yet. Keep that in mind.
Yeah. Falling Star also, I mean, if we had it, I wouldn't, we're so up on runes. That's totally a good play here too. But looks like we're just going to go 4 for 4. Oh, and the Treasure Hunter. Make another gold with it moving.
There we go. Get that value. Get the value when you can. So 5 might to 4 might in this showdown. Richard is going to play the Hextech Ray. That takes out the Treasure Hunter. 3 damage to the unit at a battlefield.
Looks like, okay, I think we did have a treasure open that we could have used, but it's about the same. So we do get the removal there.
Yeah, but it leaves it open, that battlefield ready to be conquered by the overzealous fan. Zachary going up to 6 here, and we are going to throw down one of the best units against Kaisa, the Ferris Forerunner, at the northern battlefield. And we are holding
and
a
hiding
bit.
A card too, yeah.
Wow. Lots of might at both battlefields, and we're going to be working with several ready runes here.
Yeah, because again, with double Targon's Peak, we get to just untap 4, which is
crazy.
Fantastic feeling when it works. And yeah, like I think we have maybe a way to get, at least challenge the Draven. But again, against, Chaos, when they have a lot of runes open, you got to be really careful about it.
Okay, well, here's that 1,000-tailed Watcher coming out accelerated, -3 might across Zachary's board. What does Richard have to follow up with here? We're going in. It's 7-4. The Spinning Axe might essentially just nullified here. So 1,000-tailed Watcher taking the southern battlefield. It's 6-6. Zachary holds at the northern battlefield up to 7. What a game 3 this has been. Both players really treating us here in round 3 of the Riftbound Coastal Series.
Yeah. Now, I think we should only have 3 runes open for Richard here. We should only get the 2 back, and I think we had 1 open. So I think they're readjusting it. So it's not as many runes open as it looks like. I think we only have like 1 or 2 cards in hand for Richard too. But if Zachary feels like they can just hold the northern Targon's Peak, right? That can get the last point. But at the same time, Richard, if they hold on the southern one, they go to 7 points. And if they have a way to move over and take that last battlefield, they can go for game. But it looks like we are going to play out the Darius here as our first card of the turn.
That's what we needed. The Treferian is yet to show up. We're going to put Edge of Night onto the Ferris Forerunner. Darius is ready with +2 might, 7 might into the Thousand-Tailed Watcher. We trade at that southern battlefield. And now Richard having to start all over again. No units in play, and we've got to respond to that northern battlefield. The Ferris Forerunner there and that fan. There's a total of 10 might. Zachary wins if he holds here.
Yeah, and we've got, double Dying Light, but not quite going to get there. So Zachary gets it, goes 2-1, and is going to be going into round 4 with a 3-0 record.
Yeah, what a performance there. It was great to see Kaisa go the distance. We saw 3 games, and Kaisa is one of those decks that I feel pairs up pretty well into this mid-range Draven deck.
For sure.
If you get that good early removal, we saw the great tempo that you're able to get paired up with the little cheap Poros. I think that's really the route to victory, but unfortunately in that final game it just didn't line up that way.
Yeah. I think they're, the biggest thing was one, I will say, the cards we drew are not necessarily the most diverse, right? We had one game plan. So our, the cards we drew are saying try to get rid of that big old Draven, and unfortunately they had the spinning axe to save it. If they got rid of it, I think the tempo could have been way different, right?
Yeah.
There could have been a chance that they were slowed down enough, they weren't going to be at 8 points nearly as soon enough. So, but with the spinning axe, that really derailed that plan.
No, that's a great call out because he really invested a lot, right? We had 2 Hextech Rays that he threw in there trying to take out that chosen champion, and we saw how good that signature gear, that signature equipment is for Draven. The spinning axe, it's brutal.
It's very, very good. It doesn't even matter that it falls off when it falls off, right? Like just reaction speed +3 on a gear, not even a spell, right? Spells are a little bit easier to interact with, I think, right now, but it's a huge difference for especially the Kaisa matchup.
Definitely. Well, it's a great start to our stream here.
Yes.
We're going to be kicking off round 4 here shortly here in Hampton, Virginia. Super excited. It's a beautiful day out.
It is. It's super beautiful.
The pollen's out now.
It is a little out, yes.
We are having to deal with the pollen, but no, it's been a great day so far, and look forward to another feature match coming up shortly. Don't go anywhere. We've got round 4 from Virginia coming up next.